Hi, writers. I've been reading a lot of books since we've been home. I hope you have too. And what I've been noticing is how authors start a story. That got me thinking about the beginning of my story and how maybe I want to do a little revising of my lead today to make it a little bit more exciting. Let me show you what I'm thinking. So, yesterday I was working on my story and I was working on some sketches. And I read the beginning of my story again because every time I come back to my writing, I always reread what I wrote the day before. And I read, one day we cleaned up trash. And I thought to myself, one day we cleaned up trash. Is that the way that the authors that I love and the writers that I know start stories to really hook me in? Because I know for me, when I start reading something, if the lead is awesome and hooks me in, I want to keep reading the book. But if the lead or that first sentence is a little, I might decide to put the book down, right? And so, writers, today I want to remind you that the way we start our stories is really important. So, what I did to kind of spice mine up to think a little bit more about the way I'm starting my story is I looked at some of the books I've been reading lately. So, when I opened back up to Night Job and I reread the lead or the beginning, it said, on Friday nights when the sun goes down, I snap the clips shut on Dad's lunchbox and climb onto the back of his bike. So I noticed they start almost with setting, with Friday night when the sun goes down, and then get into an action lead or like what's actually happening in the story. So I thought, setting and action might be something I want to think about for the beginning of my story. Then I looked at Lunch Lady. And I noticed that at the beginning of Lunch Lady, there's a speech bubble because it's a graphic novel. Everybody freeze. This is a robbery. So I thought, I might be able to start my story with dialogue or somebody talking just like this author did, right? And also it's action, right? There's a robbery happening, so getting right into the action of the story might draw my reader into my story. Awesome. Let's look at one more. How did Grace Lynn start The Year of the Dog? This is another book I'm reading. So it says, Happy New Year. Dad laughed into the phone. So another dialogue lead or another talking lead. So what I did in my notebook, and this is something that you can try, you can write it in your notebook or you might just talk it out with somebody at home, is that I tried a couple of different leads in my notebook based on what I noticed that good writers and authors do. So I tried last Saturday afternoon, we cleaned up trash, right? So I took and expanded a little bit on the setting. Instead of just saying one day, I said last Saturday afternoon. So that's a setting lead. So I could revise my lead to that. Then I tried this one. I can't believe how much trash we picked up, I said. So I thought about that dialogue lead or that talking lead, and I was thinking I could start my story with myself talking or somebody in my story talking. And then I picked up another yucky piece of trash. I tried that action lead, right? Getting right into somebody doing something in my story or having some action in my story. So now as a writer, I have to think, like, which one of these leads do I think my reader will like better, right? Which one of these leads will really draw my reader into my story and motivate them and encourage them to keep reading, right? And so when I go back to my story, I have a choice. I have to think, like, do I want to revise this lead? And I think I've already decided that, yeah, I don't really want to start one day we cleaned up trash, right? That's not how great writers start stories. It's not bad, but I want to make it even better. So I showed you how I could add like a flap of paper to revise. But now I'm going to show you that one way that writers revise too is that they can just kind of cross out and write it again, right? So I'm going to cross out one day we cleaned up trash. And I think I'm really liking my dialogue lead. I can't believe how much trash we picked up, I said. So once I've crossed out, I don't really have too much space here, but I think I'm going to try to squeeze it in. And I'm going to just write down that new lead that I want to try. I can't believe how much trash we picked up. I can't believe how much trash we picked. I said. Did you just see how I did that? I reread my lead. I looked to books to see other ways that writers start stories. I tried out a couple and then I picked one and I revised the lead that I had originally done. Right? So, writers, today that's what I want you to do. If you've got some books at home, kind of look through books, notice how your favorite writers and authors are starting stories, go back to your story, or if you're starting a new story, really think about the lead, right? So you can either revise your lead from a story that you've already written, or you might be starting a brand new story. And then I want you to think about dialogue, action, or setting as a way to hook your reader in. Okay. Great job, writers. Can't wait to see what you come up with.